We started our online fitness business a couple weeks ago, and as the leaders in online fitness business education for a lot of years, we got to know all of the software companies inside and out. We have been working with them. I've been an advisor. I've advised basically every major software company. And so when it came time for us to build our system, I wanted to choose the one that we were going to work with, the software program that we were going to work with, that was going to be the right combination of ease of use. We're going to onboard a lot of coaches very quickly to work with our clients. We brought on 5 at the beginning, but we wanted to build a system where we could bring on a lot of coaches. So very, very quickly. So it had to be really easy to use, had to have the right kind of automation, had to have the data that we needed in there, had to have an Android app and an EOS app. And so we decided to use PT Distinction. And that's not just because they were the sponsors for our show. We decided to use them after looking at all the options for what we needed the best, and really, really have been loving them so far. So I can't recommend PT Distinction enough if you're looking for online training software. And normally they give a 30-day trial fee to check out the system. But what they've done special for us and listeners of the show, so that's you, is giving you guys a 60-day trial. So basically double the trial period, really to make sure you love them. And one of the things I love about that is it's not like a coupon code. It's nothing, right? Like they're putting skin in the game. Like they're basically willing to let you try out everything they have for free for 60 days, knowing that you're going to love it so that you keep using it. And that to me is a testament to just their own belief in the quality of their system. And that's one of the things that I really look for. But I want to kick it to Ren for a second. Ren, you're one of our coaches in online trainer coaching. Yep. And so you just started using the system, 2 weeks ago and got in there. So how are you finding it so far, man?
It's very much like a pair of shoes for a kid. You can grow into it. What I love about it is how simple it is at the front end.
How did you just come up with that?
Yeah, I just made that up.
That is the best analogy that I think, like that analogy was so perfect for what perfect. You're talking about. And I know you just came up with that on the spot.
I did,
amazing.
But it is, you grow into it. So it works at every level is what I'm finding out, because I'm a little bit more complex as a trainer. I've been online training for a while. So I've been around the block, as they say. And one great thing about PT Distinction is it can go from simplicity to sort of explicit detail in a short amount of time. If you need more detail, if you're expert at programming, PT Distinction makes sense for you. If you're new to programming, PT Distinction is great for you. It's got a great library. So I love the fact that it will sort of grow along with your training business. That's one of my favorite things about it so far, having engaged with it for only a few weeks. So, I got to say, normally I don't support your choices, Jonathan. We all know that. But in this case, I'm willing to say possibly that you didn't make an error.
There you go. I mean, that's fantastic. So guys, if you're listening and you want to get going with that deal, with that special deal for PT Distinction, you can go to the show notes for this episode or just go straight to onlinetrainer.com/PTD. And you'll see there's coupon code. Just enter it in when you check out and you'll get the 60 days to check it out. So the Online Trainer Show, not sure if you guys know, is actually produced by the same people who created the Online Trainer Academy. I'm the founder of it. All of us are graduates for it. Ren and Carolina, you guys are both actually level 2 certified. Is that right?
Correct.
We're a big deal.
You guys have been hanging around for a few years in our communities.
I feel old.
And young and hard. And one of the things that I'm most proud of with the Online Trainer Academy, I mean, it's not the fact that it was the first ever textbook for the subject, still the only textbook, the only real curriculum that exists for online training, and that we have worked with more people than anybody else. What, 35,000 or something people that we've worked with in 87 countries. So we know what we do works. It's actually the longevity of the success of people in the program. And that's something I'm super proud of, because the methods that we teach are agnostic. They don't fall prey to changes in algorithms. We don't teach you necessarily how to leverage like the newest, hottest software or social media, whatever it is. What we do is we empower you and we teach you strategies to actually jump on and understand what the foundational principles are for success. What are the skills that you need to up level to be a successful online trainer? We're talking everything from obviously your marketing skills and your business development skills to your client skills, motivational interview and how do you assess clients online? How do you take care of your clients well? Because even if I could help you get more clients, if you can't take care of them and get them good results, then not much is good is going to happen, and you're going to have to keep reinventing the wheel, and that's straight up exhausting, and you're destined to fail. And that's one of the things that I'm most proud of, that our community has been around and continues to grow. I mean, we've been around for 8 years. You can't have an educational course that's been around for 8 years in a platform that changes as much as the internet does and not really have struck on some very important, fundamental, foundational principles that are wildly accessible. And so if you guys are interested in that, I encourage you to check out the Online Trainer Academy. We produce this podcast, and we've been around for a while. We're going to be around for a lot longer, and we'd love for you to join us. If you just go to onlinetrainer.com/academy, then we will take great care of you. And we do, of course, have a guarantee, and we guarantee everything that we do as well. So there's no risk. So check it out, onlinetrainer.com/academy. Ren, get on with the show, my friend.
So am I starting normally now? Or
yeah, but we don't
starting?
know what topic. John,
yeah, I'm just choosing it.
Normally.
Again, normally?
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, which one?
Like I ever know the topic.
Let's do the importance of putting your own fitness first as an online trainer. Just not like I just changed it a tiny bit, Amber, from how to put your fitness first to the importance of.
Makes sense. I love it.
Okay. So how do we start then, now that the ads, are we just starting now? Is this just kind of it?
Yeah, so let Ren run with it, and then you'll do your part, and then Ren picks back up.
So Ren will start now, like we probably have been recording this entire time.
Yeah, yeah.
This is probably the show. We're probably 5 minutes into the show at this point.
We should probably just start the show talking about what we're going to do for the show and picking the topic. I feel like that would be the most accurate representation of what we do here at the Online Trainer Show.
It's the most authentic.
Honest.
Yeah, it's the most authentic way that we can present this episode. You know what? It's authentic. What episode is this? Is this 32?
It's 31.
31, same thing.
Yeah, well, we're always odd on Tuesdays, right?
31.
Oh, is that right? I don't know about that. It's interesting because I was listening to the show that aired today. Is aired the right word for a podcast? The show that was released today. And the show that was released today was the show about trusting people in the online space, like who to trust, which is so funny because Jonathan and I just had like the dueling offers from Yahoo Finance, was the last week.
Yeah, we both got it again. Well, and the best thing is in that show, I was like, yeah, if they reach out to me again, I'll ask them how much it costs. And I'll let you in on a secret. They reached out again. I asked him how much it cost.
Right.
I screenshotted the entire conversation. I negotiated them down from $7.99 to $2.99.
Which is amazing.
Even pulled the old used car salesman trick. Let me just speak to my manager. I know that he said that he didn't want to do less than 500. Waited like 3 minutes pretending that he spoke to somebody else when clearly he didn't. And then said it was okay, but just for me, for like I'm special for some reason. I mean, I'm somebody they call DM like everybody else. And so I sent him it, and I'm waiting for it to be published. And what I'm actually going to do, I haven't told anybody about this, but I'm actually going to publish an article on the PTDC about how to completely fabricate your success as a trainer. And it's like, well, what do you really need as an online trainer to be successful?
Right.
You need a few pictures where you look good. You don't need to actually look good, right? You just need like a few pictures that show that you're in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
You need some sort of history of success, like you've gotten people results, and some sort of social proof. Okay, so I'm going to use Photoshop on a few pictures. There's one button on Photoshop. Nice. I've shared that video on my Instagram last week.
It's a great video.
It was super funny. You can the video, like literally I'm looking over Joey's shoulder and telling him to give me more muscles. We did it in less than 30 seconds.
Jonathan's like, can I get more traps? Give me more traps.
Yeah.
Make my forearms explode.
He was going for Amber level traps.
Right.
That's right. And so we'll Photoshop myself. We will buy before and after photos on a stock photo website. You can purchase photos of before and afters of weight loss, and so we'll buy those, and then we'll buy a media spot. So for less than $500 in less than 7 days, I'll become a successful online trainer on the internet.
Wow. I can't wait to see your success, your stunning success as a trainer, Jonathan.
It's a prefabricated starter kit for traders.
But here's the disturbing part about it is that, and today, by the way, everybody, we're talking about the importance of putting your own fitness first as an online trainer. So it, kind of goes in line with this. But
the
funniest thing about this is, number one, I mean, the article itself will obviously showcase just how ridiculous. Most people don't even know, right, that these things can be done. So number one, we'll make sure that as many people know as possible. We'll send it out to 100,000 plus trainers. So hopefully there will be more awareness of this stuff. But the second thing that, we're really going to do is like, okay, well, like, what do you do now, right? Like, how do you actually set yourself apart? But what jumps out at me the most about all of this, about like understanding that you can do all these things and just how easy it is that there are large businesses, there are entire institutions, there are programmers in Photoshop where this is enough of a demand to fake success in all these ways. That they literally code a button in Photoshop to do it. They literally, there are photographers who take stock photos of transformations and put them on stock photo websites because they sell. There are entire media companies dedicated to giving you fake exposure on these types of lists to you to pay them. I mean, there is so much demand for these things that this stuff has actually been created. That to me is probably the most jarring part of all of this.
It's terribly unsettling. It just is. It's like the first time I saw my aunt without her wig on. Like it was a mind-boggling. I didn't know that wasn't her hair for like the first 20 years of my life. She took her wig off, and it was devastating. Like I was never the same. I literally never took candy from her again at church.
Isn't it amazing though how things become normal? Like, so I was at the gym just now. Usually I'll work out before this podcast because it makes me feel good, and then I can talk to you about it, and then it counts because I tell people on the internet about it. And so today I was training chest and back, and no big deal. I mean, I'm pushing up my bench press a bit. That's cool. Whatever.
Good for you.
And so,
Jonathan.
Well, I'm following. I mean, we'll talk a bit about it, but I'm following the online trainer coaching program and really loving it. I actually recorded for some of our marketing material 15-minute audio spot talking through my program and just how intelligent the program is and how simple it is, and how I was like giddy talking about it because I'm like, the layperson wouldn't even notice that this stuff is happening, but it's so brilliant how this program is put together. But and I'd say that like I'm not the one who came up with the program, so it's not me, like the workout program. Like I put together the system for the coaching, but not the workout program. So I'm allowed to be like giddy and talking about it because it's not, mine. And I definitely couldn't do it. And that's part of what I was saying. I was like admitting it's like, this is way better than I could do as a trainer. And what's also cool about this is like, I didn't even know how to properly and appropriately program in conditioning and alactic conditioning and movement prep and ballistic training and plyometric training, like how all of that fits into one hypertrophy program, right? Like where it fits in and how to progress it all. Like I never knew that stuff. And like everybody needs power training, but like how do you program power training into an everyday person's workout? It's difficult, right? Anyway, I was at the gym just now and one of the big posters fell off on the wall, and the gym that I work out at is kind of like it's a lifter gym. Right? Like they host like the Toronto powerlifting meets and stuff like that. So it's kind of a grunge gym. Basically they're on the wall. They have they call it the graveyard, and it's all of the broken barbells from people lifting too much weight. It's like that kind of gym. So there's bodybuilding posters everywhere, like all over the gym. There's just like men without their shirt off. Right. And so I was laughing today because one of the posters fell down, and the woman who works there, who I'm friends with, she's awesome. was just like, oh, did you see how this came down? I'm like, no, but we can replace it. Like, I can take a photo of me. I'm like, but I feel like there's too many photos of here with like men with no shirts on. I'm like, I'm gonna just have my shirt on and take my pants off. Like, I feel like it's just like, but you think what becomes normal, right? Like, it's just like, it's so normal to
We
just be in
veered
a
off
place where
early
there's
here,
just like,
folks.
What is happening?
you know,
If you're listening to
hello, my name is Jonathan Goodman, and welcome to the online.
This is the online trainer show, trainer show, trainer show. This is the online trainer show. We shouldn't have a podcast.
So if you're just tuning in, you missed an extended petit mal seizure from Jonathan Goodman. He's back now. We've medicated him right back where he needs to be at this point. He was taking his pants off earlier. It was incredibly non-Canadian talk from my perspective of what Canadians do and say. So we're here at episode 31. Again, we're in our 30s now. We're fully adult podcast now. You can't tell us what to do. Not that you ever could. My name is Ren Jones. I'm happy to be here. I'm here with my good friends, Jonathan Goodman, Carolina Belmontes, and Amber Reynolds, my southern neighbor here, who I missed for a few episodes. You know, she's been quiet recently. We got to get her on. We'll definitely get her on at the end of this episode for some type of recap to put back together what we've torn asunder. But I want to reach out to Keto because she's had lots of news recently, lots of shocking news. And you know what, Keto? Your episode of your revelation was the episode that actually came out today. For those that don't know, we record
snap.
we record the podcast ahead of time, obviously. You know, this is not live. You probably think it is because it's so bad, but it's not live. This is actually a finished product. Yeah, this is actually a finished product that you're listening to, shockingly. But in the one that actually aired today, Keto, it was your bombshell. And I've forgotten, you know, that you dropped the bombshell of moving in. You know, how's the house
Not just
purchase
moving in,
thing
buying
going?
a house. Not
We
moving in,
bought
living in
a house. We haven't moved in yet. We bought the house. That was the episode in which that had just happened. And today I come to you, like, we literally just got out of the car. We took all of our children camping for 3 days. And
Wow.
I don't know how we freaking survived that, but I'm here. We made it back in time, and I am still quote unquote sane. So there's that.
Right. So the good camping trip. I mean, you guys have fun. Were there s'mores?
It was great.
There's got to be s'mores.
We got an amazing thunderstorm last night, and then the tent got flooded and our stuff got wet. And so it was very much a camping trip.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
no,
you-
that's
so
how you
you-
do it. That's
So
how
a
you
thunderstorm in a tent.
Yes.
Well, if you don't wake up in a
With
puddle,
4
it's not
kids.
camping.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
No, thanks. I'm gonna pass on that one. You know,
It
I've
was
never been. I
wonderful.
don't think I've ever camped out during a thunderstorm. I don't think I've ever been caught in the rain camping.
The most ridiculous part of the trip was the actual tent. Don't ask me why, but I own a 13-person tent. We call it the estate because it's a freaking estate. Like it's massive, but it was awesome because we were able to fit all the kids with all their crap and us too, and everybody was comfortable and nobody was kicking each other. So win-win.
I'm really trying to think of 13 people, 12 other people that I would like to be in the tent with ever. And I'm totally blanking out. Like, I don't know if I like 12 other people. Can I be honest here? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's 12 other people that I tolerate, like, in my house, let alone in a tent outside. No, thank you. So, Jonathan, you've been talking about photoshopping your body a lot recently, which
It's funny. It's funny because I can't actually share a picture of myself now. Because if I do, everybody's just like, "Oh, you just photoshopped that." Like, no, I've been working out really hard, guys.
right.
Like,
Because
no, it's for real, guys. It's
For
for real.
real, it's for real. I
saw
almost
the
need to put like an annotation
Disclaimer.
on every photo now.
Yeah,
We
you
need to have
need
a
a
symbol like Photoshop or not. That would
Yes,
be funny.
disclaimer.
Yo,
because
that would be funny.
I've seen the original shirt, the original blue shirt picture, the blue tank top picture. I saw the original and I saw the Photoshop. And then I saw the original again recently. I think it was on PTDC something. You shared something with that picture now. And And then my mind got away from me. I'm thinking, well, this is just a Photoshop one, or is this actually the real bicep, Jonathan Goodman? But it was the real one. But now all your pictures look Photoshopped to me,
Because here's the thing, like we're talking about, the importance of putting your fitness first, and this is something that I'm really passionate about, because if there's one thing I understand about my own life and what makes me happy and what makes me productive and, family, business and everything, it is workout time to exercise, time to play is absolutely non-negotiable, and it's scheduled in first.
Right.
And everything builds around that. So from 12 to 1, so my schedule from 11:45 to 1:15, every day of the week is blocked off. Nothing is booked in there. Like that is an absolute non-negotiable. And that's when I work out. But the thing is, like, I never really ever posted, because it's not about me, right? Like the PTDC is not about me. It's certainly not about how I look or don't look or what kind of shape I'm in at that point.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'm not going to post photos of myself training. I just haven't. And so people see it now and they're just like, oh man, looks like you've been lifting a lot. I'm like, I'm not actually doing that much different than I have for a long time. Mm-hmm. Fitness coaching now is part of our brand, because we do fitness coaching now through this online trainer coaching. And so because fitness coaching is part of our brand, I'm publishing more fitness content again. Mm-hmm. Like that's really it, right? And
because you're getting fit.
Well, but I mean, I wasn't like not. I mean, I'm sure that I'll get more fit, but I think what's valuable for us to talk about here is just, I mean, as a trainer, there's a lot of talk about how you should or shouldn't look as a trainer, and do trainers need to be in good shape or not in good shape?
Right.
And that's the $1 million question. And I think actually the answer is relatively straightforward. It is no, you don't necessarily have to be in good shape. You certainly don't have to be in like Photoshop Insta trainer shape. But the fact of the matter is, if you are in good shape, you will have a much easier time getting clients.
True.
I'm not saying that I necessarily like that, but it's the reality, right? And so, your body is your brand to some extent. Yes, you absolutely need to be able to tell a really good story. And if you've been through a really good transformation, I always think back to somebody who I was on the phone with during one of these big research bouts we did, where I did I think this was the 147 phone call one, which my introvert self needed to basically sit in the room in the corner and shake for 2 weeks after I was done. But, I did this 147 9-minute phone calls. And one of them, this woman was really, really interesting, because she was talking about how she really struggled because she didn't look like, quote unquote, a trainer on Instagram.
Right.
And she had no idea how to promote herself, right? And she was trying to promote herself that way, and she didn't look the part. I mean, if you looked at her walking down the street, you'd be like, oh yeah, she looks like she, takes care of herself, but you wouldn't be like, okay, well, she clearly, poses with her butt out on Instagram every single day.
Right.
And in 9 minutes, she told me the littlest bit about her story. This woman had gotten over intense drug addiction. Type of thing where, snorting coke multiple times a week. Right. She was in with the wrong crowd. She was extremely overweight, unhealthy, in and out of the hospital, in and out of rehab, in with the wrong crowd, her friend, and she completely flipped her life. She got off of drugs through rehab. She removed those toxic friends from her life. She built an entirely new community through the gym. Those friends tried to pull her back in. She was strong enough to resist it. And so, her telling her story really, really well will be really effective. Because nobody who's 22 years old, who's never struggled for anything in their life, who's, started working out at 15, 16 years old, and looks a certain way, will ever be able to connect with somebody who's going through.
Right.
But
that makes sense.
But the reality of it is, your body is your brand. It's the first thing that people see. We don't have to like it. I certainly don't love that that's the case, but that's kind of the industry that we're in, and it's really important to take care of ourselves. Also, just as a human being, man. if you want to feel good, if you want to think good, you need to take care of yourself, and that needs to come first. It's the old overstated adage of put on your oxygen mask first. You know, if you want to help others, you've got to help yourself first. If you want to be selfless, you've got to be selfish. It's that, and it starts with that non-negotiable time.
I think the American philosopher Jay-Z, also known as Sean Carter, said it best when he said, "How can I help feed the poor if I'm one of them?" You know, that's a profound statement. So
That is profound.
You know,
actually.
I don't want to steal your thunder, John. Yeah, that is a profound statement. How can I
Let's talk
feed
about
the
how
poor if I'm
profound that
one
is
of
over and
them?
over again.
I like to say profound more than 2 times after I've just said profound.
I don't think it's
And I
profound
think it's
unless you
profound
say
that I said
profound.
it. Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't think it's
speaking of
profound unless you
profound,
say profound multiple times.
I mean, yeah. So I don't want to steal your thunder, Jonathan, but I do want to divert to Carolina because I think there's a split here in the industry over this particular subject.
Yes.
I think it's way easier to be a male who is perceptibly strong, big, maybe not necessarily, you know, low body fat percentage. I can think of a lot of very successful male coaches who, and I'm not judging, would err on the side of, you know, how can I guess thick is the most normal colloquialism now for saying, you know, it's how we perceive that. But
You got to slow it a little bit there. You got to be like thick
with 2 C's, bro. But Keto's sort of our liaison to feelings, her and Amber. And
true.
you know, Keto does some very specific work with our friends over at Girls Gone Strong about body image and these types of things. So there's a big difference here, though, isn't it, Keto? You know, can a guy just be big and strong, but a woman, you know, and talk to us about that.
So it's like it's more, I guess, appealing in the fitness world for. Sorry, I got an interruption there. It's more appealing for a guy to be like big and strong, and women tend to shy away from that kind of aesthetic in other women. So, you know, the buzzwords that we get from women clients tend to be like, I want to be tiny, I want to be skinny, I want to be smaller. Like, it's all about kind of like reducing yourself, which is, you know, if we get into the sociology of it, it's kind of like the mentality sometimes that women get injected basically culturally. It's like, don't talk too much, don't be too loud, don't cuss too much, like don't right, like don't make too much of a fuss of yourself. So small, tiny, little contained. And so that transfers to the physical goals that most women tend to have for themselves. And that's okay, by the way. If that's the goal they have, it's totally respectable. We're not here to dictate what's the right goal or what's the wrong goal. At the same time, there's now kind of like an uprising, I guess, of new, you know, fitness trainers who are reminding us that fitness can look any way, because you can have a person who maybe used to be 300 pounds and so now at 215 they might still look heavier, but hey, look how far they've come, and now they're teaching people how to do the thing they have done themselves. So that's not devalued at all, right? But it is very much like Jonathan says, finding that niche of people who resonate with your personal story. That's where all the difference in the world is going to come. Because yes, if you're trying to shop in the same kind of like Instagram model client pool, you're setting yourself up for failure. You need to find your people. Where do they hang out? Where do they talk about this stuff? And how can you show them how far you have done the things you're doing?
Yeah. So Jonathan, back to you. And I love what you said about it's good points, Keto. I love what you said about, you know, it's not that I like it, but it's sort of how it is. I think that's the most fair statement you can make, right? I mean,
it sucks, like, but you don't have to go far, i.e., every magazine stand ever, to see that, you know, that's kind of how it is. And yeah, it sucks. I mean, I think it's great that we have Kiro here to really talk about it from her point of view, because obviously, when you and me, I mean, we can just be thick. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Thick.
Thick
Peanut
and
butter
with no
thick.
judgment. No
That's
judgment.
right.
Skippy, Jif, Peter Pan, peanut butter thick, bro.
we can just fill out those shoulders. We can just fill out those shirts, dude.
Yeah, just tacos and tiny shirts. That's all it takes for us.
Tacos and tiny shirts. Yo,
Yeah.
that is a good brand.
Yeah,
That's a really good slogan right there.
You're a fitness.
I'm gonna
you're a
borrow
male
that.
fitness professional. Tacos
I'm
and
gonna
tiny
quote
shirts.
myself saying that, and I'm just gonna steal it from you, Ren. Sorry.
You should. It's the nature of our show. I feel sad if you didn't.
I feel like, I mean, legitimately, Carolina, I feel like that is a good brand for you.
It is, and I'm gonna do what you do and just steal it. And
Just
Do
take
you
it.
remember? Do you remember the placemat that I sent you?
I have it in my kitchen still. I still have it it's still there, and it's coming with me to my new house in October. I'm just saying.
So I mean, tell the people.
Tell the people.
what it
So
says.
before I started working with Jonathan, but I was already like into OTA 1 and a lot of awesome things were happening. I'm Mexican, and it's totally true. We love tacos because we eat a lot of tacos and they're fantastic. Who doesn't love tacos? And so I talk a lot about tacos. I joke about tacos. I share memes about tacos because tacos are fantastic. And then one day in my mail, there's like a package from this, Jonathan Goodman. I'm like, what the heck? And he sent me a doormat that said that, you put on your front door because it says, you better have tacos. And that is like spot on. Like, I love it because I get to point down at people and be like, you're visiting. Like, do you have tacos? Do you bring
tacos? Because if you
I
didn't,
have tacos.
That makes sense.
y'all better know this is tacos and tiny t-shirts house.
Love it.
So we all love tacos. So Jonathan, I mean, we do. Like, everybody here loves tacos, and if they don't, they're not associated with this brand. And prioritizing your own health. Another thing that you said that was key for me was that you said it's the start of your schedule, because I know that oftentimes we try to squeeze it in, right?
Yes.
To the other important stuff. And it reminds me of our financial episode. Yeah. It reminds me of our financial episode, because one of the things I think finance is you pay yourself first. I save my money for me first, and then I distribute money for my bills and other things that I need to do. You're saying the same thing for a fitness coach. Is it easy for us to get overwhelmed? Well, I know the answer, but I'm asking for the audience. Is it easy for us to get overwhelmed with everybody else's tasks if we don't prioritize that up front?
Of course.
I don't know the answer to that. But what I will say is, I mean, this is the trap that I fell into for years. I mean, I haven't talked about my history a ton training on the floor. In some of my books, I think I've hit on it a little bit, but I mean, it was for 4 years, I would train 10 to 12 hours a day. I mean, often in a row. I mean, I would do 9 to 12 hours of one-on-one training in a row. You could hardly stand at the end of that, right? And so I would do that Monday to Thursday. Friday, I'd usually end a little bit earlier because like Friday night was just, in my family, Friday nights are always like a time when the family gets together for dinner. And then Saturdays, I do the mornings, and then I take Saturday afternoon and Sunday off. But I would fit in the workouts basically whenever the heck I could. And I think that's probably very common for people who work in gyms. You kind of have a client cancellation, you squeeze it in, you have the 30 minutes here. And it's troublesome for a few reasons. I mean, one is there's no reliability, there's no real schedule. It's very hard to actually get on a good program and a good periodized program and a program that progresses. And you see when you do a really great program that progresses well, I mean, the impact of that is night and day. Like what we take our people through with online trainer coaching versus what they would do themselves, just kind of slotting in workouts that they make up. It's night and day different, and just way more efficient. But the other thing, because you just don't know when you're training your body. Like my body knows around 11:30, 11:45, it's like, all right, it's going to be go time soon. Like I can feel it, right?
Mhm.
Because it's now my
Uh-huh.
pattern. It's part of my natural rhythms. It's like, 7:30 in the morning when Allison trains in our garage. That's my coffee time, right? So I go outside and I sip my coffee and I watch her work hard. That's what good husbands do. And so, and it's pretty funny actually. And because all the neighbors see it, right? And she has like a gang of like 4 women who come over and work out with her and stuff like that in the neighborhood. And I'm just like leaning up against her hockey net, just like chatting with them while they're working out. But the other really troublesome part of just fitting them in everywhere is I started to get all of these like little nagging injuries and stuff like that because I'm gonna be honest with you here for a minute. What?
Do it, Jonathan.
What?
Share with us.
Tell the people.
Yeah.
What?
Tell the people, son.
What falls by the wayside when you don't have quite enough time to train?
Warm up.
It's the
Flexibility protocol. Yeah.
It's the soft tissue work. It's the movement prep.
Mhm.
It's all of the really important stuff to make sure your body doesn't break. And you
Straight
just
to the bench,
like,
son.
like think about like what the worst possible thing you can do for your body long term is lifting stuff awkwardly, spotting people for like 10 hours a day, and then slamming the crap out of your body with no appropriate warm up or cool down or movement prep or soft tissue work for like 30 or 45 minutes, wherever you can fit it in.
Yeah.
And just doing that day after day. It's like, I think it was, Alan Cosgrove and Joe DeFranco, and me, both really, really great guys in the industry, have both said something similar. And I don't remember who said this exact one, but they both said something similar. They're like, no guy in their 40s has ever wished that he did less soft tissue work before his 40s. It's like,
perfect.
It's like nobody. Yeah. It's like in your 20s you should train like you're in your 40s.
Yep.
Yeah. It's true though. When I used to talk to my boys about it, we used to say, "Ain't no stretching in the hood, son." Like the homies don't get together and say, "Hey man, what's your range of motion like?" Bro, I'm killing it, son. Like, my shoulders are pliable as hell, Joe. Like that doesn't happen. Like until you get to be my age, 46, and then now some of the homies don't move that well. Seriously.
Right.
Yeah, and I would add it here. Conversely, for the ladies, I have never heard an older woman like in her late 50s who has been dedicated to lifting weights throughout like for years to ever have regretted it. You never hear that from women who have remained strong for years and have done that type of training. None of them are like, I wish I had not lifted, heavy, when I was young. No, it just doesn't happen. Like it's good for you, right? So
basically what we're saying is women should lift heavy weights and guys in the hood should become more pliable.
More mobility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do it, homies.
Absolutely.
Do it, homies.
Do it for the homies that ain't here.
Yeah. Pour one out for you boys. So I feel really, really, what's the right word? Hood now.
Yeah.
Today?
You got 100% street cred now, Jonathan.
Do I get street cred now?
100%, man.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking that.
Like middle-class Jewish from the hood.
Yeah, right. Your level of street cred, it's a continuum, Jonathan. It exists on the spectrum.
It's in context. It's in context.
Moving along that continuum. But I feel like that's one of the things.
A little bit more, a little bit better.
I feel like that's one of the things that we do, that I'm so like proud of, that we're doing with online trainer coaching. One of the reasons, to be honest, that we decided to put it together, we're like, okay, what are ways that we can support people who work in this industry? I mean, obviously we've got all of the business support, but what are ways that we can really support them in ways that they are perhaps not being supported? And it seems so counterintuitive to put together the world's first online fitness coaching program for fitness and nutrition coaches.
Yeah.
But when we really thought about it, when we really started speaking to our audience, we're like, this is actually arguably the number one place that you need support in. because this is where you're putting all of your energy out and getting very little back.
Right.
And so we've showed up and the first group's going, and I actually have a call with Alex today to basically recap. And it's been so energizing to see what's been happening with people in there. I mean, less about like everybody in there 100% learns about programming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what kind of results they're getting because we're only a few weeks in. So I can't say that like people are getting amazing results because we just don't know yet. I assume they will. I mean, I'm fairly confident that I will. But having that routine, but more so having the permission to be on a routine and outsourcing the development of it and just letting almost acquiescing control, right? Delegating that part of you is such a freeing feeling that we're finding for people to be taken care of that way. And giving them permission to say, no, these are your workouts. Like, because when it's self-professed, when it's self-designed, we allow ourselves to skip it every once in a while. We allow, like, there's just all of those things that, but when somebody else has designed it for you, and like, no, you told me you were going to do 4 days a week. You told me you were going to do 5 days a week, right? You told me you're going to go with these times. Schedule that in. And we do. And we're better off. And what do we know from Parkinson's principle? The time a job takes expands to the time given for that task. Exactly. If you don't have a lot of time, you will get the task done in the time you have. If you have a lot of time, you'll take a lot of time to do the same task. So if you feel like you have a lot of work, we talked about this in a previous episode, the most productive you will ever be in your life is when you're in a coffee shop without your computer charger and your computer hits 10%. Like, you will never be more productive in your life. Why? Because the time you have to complete your tasks is now squished, right? And so all of a sudden you get the task done. So if you can put those constraints on yourself, and one of the best constraints is like, if you don't feel like you have time for everything, I actually recommend, as counterintuitive as it sounds, schedule your workout time first. And that will inevitably give you less time to do your other stuff. And you will find all of a sudden that you still get all your other stuff done. And you'll do it more efficiently.
Magically. That's true. Yep.
That makes.
So Jonathan mentioned a keyword there, that you feel energized. And on feeling energized, like, it's true, like also in a parallel way, not only because you're energized physically, but also when you're working out, you're more prone to share fitness content on your social media because that's what you're doing. That is part of what you're doing. So you're thinking about it more, you're practicing more, you're noticing things, and you're talking about it. And when you do, that's part of your marketing, and that's how people come to you to hire you, because
and you're feeling good about yourself.
It up constantly. So even that, like, for your business, it's good for your business in every sense of the word.
We actually had that come up in our research when we were putting together the marketing and research around online trainer coaching. Which, by the way, guys, I haven't even mentioned it. If you guys want to get on the wait list, like, our next cohort is October 27th. And if you put yourself on the wait list, you save $200 and you can get in 48 hours early. So that's the ptdc.com/OTC. But we'll have it in the show notes too. And Amber, put that in the show notes. And so, but that's actually something that came up. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because it was, what came up was people's businesses were suffering because they weren't confident enough in their own fitness to showcase what they were doing, to talk about fitness, because they weren't working out at that time themselves. And so it's not just like the health aspect of it. It's like their businesses were legitimately really suffering because they weren't putting in the work themselves and showcasing that.
It's all connected. It really is. There's no way around it. You got to do what you ask other people to do, because then you feel so free and empowered to talk about it, and it just brings you people.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. These are some good takeaways. You know, here's what I've taken away so far. It's a really good point too, Keto. I feel like I've said that once before today.
I make a lot of great points, Ren.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever said it twice in one podcast. So this is the first for you.
Me.
Hey, Hey, I believe in you, Kero. But the first of all, the point of factoring in your own fitness first, paying yourself first, because it pays out to your entire business is what it seems like, but not only that, I think that to Keto's point, it really does allow you to feel much more engaged with your industry when you are regularly investing in your own fitness. And like you said, Keto, is much more likely that you're going to want to share fitness content on the internet and social media. And wrap it up, B. And it's really important for, I think, coaches to see other coaches' style of coaching in terms of programming, periodization, if you believe in it. Yeah, it's super helpful. And we've sort of proven that out because I've had quite a few comments and conversations with the groups that I'm coaching in the OTC. I'm one of the OTC coaches. And we've been able to come to a greater understanding of why things are programmed the way that they are. And I've already had a few aha moments with some of the coaches that we're coaching in the program. I think it's going to turn out better coaches. What I'm sure on Jonathan's end was sort of a side effect that you wanted a happy accident that you wanted to have happen, Jonathan. Coaches are becoming much more aware of, probably the gaps and holes in our own programming.
That's it. I mean, everything's data points. I mean, it's not like, oh, you're going to like copy exactly what we're doing, but you're like, oh man, like how they did that is actually going to solve this problem with my own that I couldn't quite see, because it's really hard to see around corners. You kind of need to be in it. And the best way, I mean, this is why, like everywhere I go, we haven't talked about John's travels for at least an episode or two. Everywhere I go, I hire a trainer.
Right.
I mean, I've hired trainers in Mexico, in Dominican, in Greece, in Montenegro, in Thailand, in Hawaii. Like everywhere I go, I hire trainers. It's fascinating, man. In Costa Rica, everywhere trains a little bit differently, and end of it is right. Like you learn more about yourself. You learn more about what you like, what you don't like, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And it's all kind of just data points that you're able to put together in your own really beautiful way at the end of it. And I think that's what it's all about. And that's what's going to set you apart too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're wrapping this thing up. If Amber, you got anything to add as we close out? Anything that you need to? Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, great.
Such insight. Thank you.
Good talk, Amber. So onlinetrainer.com/podcast for show notes. Go and give us a review. Review this thing. We made it to episode 31. Give us more reviews. No need to stop with the Meth Gator artwork either. Keep that coming to Amber Reynolds. She loves that stuff. We talked about feet on one episode. That's something that we'll talk about some other time, not today.
I do have a couple
thanks so. Abby, God bless you.
Can't wait to see.
God bless you. Yeah. And tune in next episode, guys. I think there's a jingle here. Let's do a jingle. This has been the Online Trainer Show. And we're online trainers, so it all makes sense, bro. It's like mind blown. Jingle.
Thanks for your contribution, Amber.
Epic. She unmuted herself and shook her head no. I just
wanted to wrap it up. It was stressing me out that we were over.
I know. We exceeded 4 minutes. I'm so sorry, Amber.
My anxiety has got the best of me.
Holla.
See ya.
Bye.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast.
Research, dig a little bit.
Not devil's advocate. No, I mean, kind of devil's advocate, but not like.
Well, you're getting older now, Jonathan. And at this age, you have to come to grips with things that may not function properly in your body. That includes your mind. And it's okay. This is a safe space. I'm 46. I get it. We can talk about it here. I can be your guide here, Jonathan, as
you can be his coach.
As you decay physically and mentally, I can help you through that process because I've already been through it. So, we'll hold hands and we'll walk together through male menopause. I hope that's comforting for you. It felt good saying it. I feel helpful in mentioning it.
I don't really
Amber
want
almost
anything to do
fainted
with
from
this.
laughing there.